So this is the set I'm going to be using for the escape pod in my Tantive. It makes it reasonably simple to use, probably a bit smaller than it should be, so it will fit into my build, I feel. I'm back. Well, to you it will seem like I haven't been anywhere at all, but I have had quite a break from tackling the Tantive, the third tier, possibly 2 months, something like that. And it really was weighing on my mind. I couldn't quite get how I was going to do these escape pods. It just sort of was a little bit tricky. So I have come back revigorated and I have a plan. And the plan has already changed a couple of times, but I'm quite happy with where it's sitting now. What we have in front of us are 3 scenes, even though they're just skeletons at the moment. The plan was to have Princess Leia scenes where she gets shot. Well, first of all, she shoots a Stormy and then she gets shot. And you would have half and half separated, so you could only see down 2 corridors. The trouble is with that, it was getting very crowded. If we go along here a bit, here's 2 escape pods. C-3PO is bumbling around here and R2 pushes him in. When we go along to here, this is the final scene from the Tantive, as far as I'm concerned, in this build. And that is where Princess Leia has been brought round and is marched up in front of this wall. And Darth Vader and another officer sort of like give her the old finger pointing, you know, ripping into her sort of thing, and then take her away. So, yeah. Now, I was adamant I wanted the 2 doorways either side of the panelling there, because that's where she is, around here, and they're all here around her. And I wanted it open. I didn't want to put another wall this side because I want it to be clearly seen. Another wall this side doesn't really add anything to the scene. It just makes it awkward to see. So, like I said, I've scrapped this idea in having 2 parts where Leia does the shooting and gets shot. So that comes out. What I will now do is take away this part here, and this edge here will be the end of this scene. So I'm going to keep everything up to here will stay. These walls will move to about here. Oh, it's got no stud, so it's got no nothing to push it into. So yeah, the escape pod will move up to here, and this, if you can imagine, will move to here, roughly. And then we have this part here, the end of the wall, but it won't stay in this formation, i.e. 2 next to each other. This one I am thinking now will move back, so it's 2 separate scenes. We'll have 1 corridor along here where the stormtroopers are here and they shoot Leia down here. She falls down in front of an escape pod hatch with the door closed, and so this will be the escape pod hatch with the door closed, which will move right back here, which will separate it off from this part here, which will be the little bit where the 2 droids are bumbling around and C-3PO gets pushed in and off they go. So that way it separates this whole build into 3 scenes. That is the plan, people, and that's what I'm going to go with until it changes again. So I'll catch you in the next update. Hopefully it hasn't changed too much. I have really made some progress, which is sometimes quite unusual for me because I build things and I destroy it time and time again until I get to a place where I'm happy. But this one, after I updated the last update, which was last night, went pretty smoothly and I didn't have to destroy things over and over again. So I still have that plan. As I was saying, I have completely done away with this last bit of wall here. I have pulled the frontage to the escape pod, or 1 escape pod here where C-3PO and R2 get into. And then as we go along here, I'm going to have the 2nd escape pod behind here, but there won't be an escape pod. It'll just be the door. And then Princess Leia will get shot down this corridor, get tasered, phasered, whatever you want to call it, stunned, that's the word. And the Stormies will be searching the archways down here. I thought this would just give you a chance to see a little bit of the construction of the base as it comes together. And as you can see, I've used a lot of these colourful slope pieces, which is pretty much what the Tantive set itself does, but it really does help just to use up those, and they work really well actually and quite stable. So I'll put the floor back on there. If you look over here, you'll see my area where the escape pod sits in. I'm still using this original escape pod that is stripped back to its bare skeleton, if you like, and I've used again these slopes in the 45-degree angle, I think they are, just to give it somewhere to sit right down into the base. And as you can see, it just pops in there lovely. It has to go low down for the droids to sort of seamlessly go in there. There might be a plate or two that has to come up. I might work further on that. I'm going to slightly redesign this inside because obviously all the colours are wrong. Really, that's just the skeleton there. So we'll see how that bit goes. Let's get on to the next bit. I knew I should have kept my mouth shut about how well this was going, as I've just had a few big pull apart areas. There's an awful mess everywhere here, and I've just literally swept it to the side of my desk and onto the floor. I got my arch sizes wrong. First of all, this is almost needs to be a hobbit hole. It needs to be smaller than the main arches of the hallway, and if you don't do that, it doesn't look right. So I have shrunk them down. I've also had to extend this door out because I've definitely decided it's not a escape hatch. I mean, this is a totally different scene to this, and that's why I quite like it that I have managed to put this one right down the middle and separate. None of the figures will see the other figures because they are three totally different separate scenes from different parts of the ship. And this archway here, I have decided it's going through to some other part of the ship. It is not an escape pod. I had it smaller. I didn't have this 2x brick here, and I had the arches joining, and that's not how these ones are made. So when I put this up down, it was shrunk down, and those white blast doors, if they are indeed white blast doors or just parts of the ship, all the bits where the pipework comes out, you couldn't see any of it, and it looked terrible. So yeah, it all had to come apart, and I had to work it out. And as you can see, I'd already started laying the path this way, had all the grill down, the pipe work and everything. Now I've tore all that apart. Yeah, so everything had to move down. That made this gap here a bit smaller, which is a little bit of a shame because that area where Princess Leia gets stunned, I think that's quite a sort of openish area at the end of the archways, and I thought, well, that's a lesser thing. It's much better to have this complete archway in a correct format, showing these white bits and all the pipe work as much as I can. What else can I show you at the moment? Oh yeah, lots of coloured brick. I'm using lots of my filler brick in there, as you can see. I haven't really done anything to the escape pod, but I have added these curved bricks, which does extend it and makes it fit in there more snug. It's going to be even snugger when I get the grey walls down each side, and then you won't see any of that coloured stuff. So yeah, that will look good. I think it's all going to look good, but it is just getting there, and I need to order a lot of dark bluish grey 1x brick. So I've done one Bricklink order, and I bet I need to do at least one more before it's over. So yeah, on with the show. It's almost there. As usual, I'm waiting for Bricklink parts to fill in this area here at the back. This area here is giving me the most headache, and that's basically because I didn't have the two greys each side, and what that means is slightly change the piping work, but I've managed to figure that out, just setting this one slightly back, so that's okay. But the problem is when my engine parts arrive that go down the two cylinder pieces that look like engine pieces that stick into the back and come down on the floor, I have got less space to work with. So that's going to be a bit of a head scratching moment when they come through from Bricklink, and how I make them similar, i.e. put two each side. Very happy with this bit here that Princess Leia just waits behind as she's about to shoot a stormtrooper. I think that's come out really well. Looks sort of in scale, and with those few parts, I think it really does show that off. The same with the door there, which I don't know where it leads to, another part of the ship, but I think that has come out really well. Another part that I'm really pleased with is this pipe work all along here. That I'm just really happy with that. At first it stuck up and I knew that wasn't right, so I had to embed it, take some of the floor away and some of the structural work underneath. The escape pod, yeah, it's not bad. It's not my favourite bit, just because it's very hard working with the set and these cylinder pieces. I will show you what I've done. So this is the majority of the set. I've omitted some parts so that it fits flush up there, because it's going to sit up against the back of the Besta unit wall. It's not really held together by anything much. I suppose I could put something across these parts actually. I didn't think of that. But I've made a bit of an interior. It's not exactly as the picture that I've been using as reference, but it's not bad. The only thing is I thought that the seats come out a funny angle and they sit, and there's supposed to be a window in here really, which obviously I can't do, and it's only, they use a sticker in the set, which doesn't make sense to put it in there. And now I've put an interior in there, a brick built interior. So I've put some controls in there, and I think it works because it's not the main part. It really is just something that they are about to go into and be shot off. But really you're looking at them here and getting some of the details inside, but not an awful lot. There's a pipework piece here. It should be slightly lower, but then again, so should the arch. I think I said this earlier, but at least I've got the arch lower than the doorway there. So although they don't have to duck under it, which C-3PO did, I think, in the film, it's still low enough to show a difference between that part and that part. And then I took away this last bit of walling that was here. I've added a piece here, and the whole scene with Vader and Leia being pushed up against the wall with the stormtroopers behind her. I'm still waiting for a few parts in white. Waiting for a few parts all over, but not too many now. I put one grey tile in there, light bluish grey tile, rather than all this dark blue grey tile. Yeah, I don't know why. Oh, I do know why. I didn't have a dark bluish grey tile, but I'm kind of happy with it. It kind of differentiates that pod part and breaks up the colour. I did have a light bluish grey path here going up to this door, and I really liked it, but it was different to the rest of the ship. And the idea is the ship is kind of, the floorway is all one colour. So I've stuck with the dark bluish grey. I think I'm happy with that decision at the moment. While I'm waiting for these final bricks to come in from Bricklink, I have some finishing touches to add to this third tier display for the Besta unit. So first of all, I've got all my smooth black tiles here, which will go all the way around the edges. And then I've got something else I thought you might like to see, some sticker sheets. And these are quite straightforward, just to go on the pieces down here for the Tantive, from the Tantive set even. And then we've got these escape pod pieces, which are real chunky pieces. I've never put stickers on this big before, so wish me luck and you'll see me doing that. Let's go a little bit faster and get through some of this. I didn't realise there was a little control panel sticker here that I could have used. I don't know if you can see that inside my actual skate pod, but I've used a different one. So I might replace that and put this one in. These don't make sense now, these stickers, because they haven't gone anywhere. They're sitting on the Tantive still, so I won't be using them. These bigger ones are going to be a little bit more tricky, I feel. Let's go. These have got to go right to the edge. Okay, happy number one. Well, they are very close to the edge, but they still don't quite meet up in the middle, but that's the best I can do. So I'm quite happy with that. It doesn't look bad at all. So that adds a lovely border all the way round. We have our sticker details. I think that adds to it. Gives it a little bit more something, just that pop of yellow. Now I just need these orders to come in and I can finish and put the minifigures on. So I was just putting in the minifigures, ready to do the final reveal of the set, when I decided to take it all apart. Or this side of it apart anyway. And that is basically because this wall here is something different to what I originally imagined. This, rather than the doorway being here, the doorway should be here. She runs along here and falls over here. The other thing I had done, I got my Bricklink order in so I could finish off the engine parts here, and I added these nice little dials. Okay people, so things have changed again. So if we move along here, this is what I've settled for. A few things I needed to change because, well, it just wasn't working the other way. I had some archways here all the way across, and that didn't work because I realised that the structure of the ship seemed to be flat at the back, with these arches just providing like a ribbing almost effect. Yeah, that's what I went with, and it made it an awful lot easier to work with because of height. I wanted to get 4 engines in, if these are indeed engines or coolers or whatever they are here, but I could only get 3 with a gap so that it looks like a figure could pass by. These bits really come from out the side of the engines, but there was no way I could do that in such a small scale. So I settled for this. There should be 1 more as well, but it didn't look right adding 1 more. However, I did it, and I kind of liked having the 3 there. They didn't take up too much space, and the figure can still pass down because Leia hides behind, I think it's this one here, and shoots the stormtrooper. We got the grill work. There's a lot more piping that goes off, but again with the clip work it would just all be piping and no grill work if I didn't have just 2, and 2 I thought really got the point across. I had to move. Originally I had pipe work across here because the doorway was here, if you remember, so this pipe work was wrong, so it had to turn around the other way, but that worked out right. It was just digging out some of the floor work I had and then changing coloured brick underneath. But yeah, I think the way it's looking now really has worked, and it gives it plenty of length for the stormtroopers to be searching here. She shoots one and they shoot back. So if we move along to the escape pod, that has changed as well. It was very hard to ascertain which way this escape pod is sitting in its docking area. So the engines are here. But it doesn't make sense. If the engines are here, how are the figures going through here if it's sitting that way? So the only way I can think of it is the engines have slid out the way, one up, down, left or right. Mine have come up, and I wanted to include them just because it gives a bit more on the overall height of the thing, and it adds to the illusion that there is a real engine bay there, thruster bay, whatever you want to call it. You'll be seeing the pictures on the screen as I'm talking about this, and you can clearly see the engines, I think, and you can clearly see that it gets shot out of the docking bay this way. When you look at the other picture that I put on earlier of the sort of technical layout of the escape pod, it doesn't really fit with this layout, so I'm not quite sure. And also I had a good word with my friend Dubsy, and he seems to think it was in sideways, i.e. it turned around this way and it laying across there. I'm just not sure. I mean, unless they've just screwed up on the film, that's the only thing I can think. You know, they've completely got it wrong on the film to the source material. It's just not accurate. So from the film, this is how I'm doing it, and this is how I'm sticking with it. I'm quite happy with it. Just to let you know, I've put a little jumper plate in there because that's where R2 is going to sit on the stand there, so as he's going in with C-3PO following him. This area here, you've seen, nothing has changed, thankfully. This is the only area that once I got it, well, no, I did have to take this bit off here, but once that was done, it stayed the same. No need to change it. So, all that being said, I think it is now time for figures to be added. And I need to break into this set because I need the figures. Why do I need the figures? Well, I've run out of Princess Leia's with legs that move. I also need, or I want to use the R2-D2 with the back printing, and I don't have it loose. But in the future, I was keeping this set anyway because I wanted to use it in a display a little bit different to this. It's time for figures. And there we go, finishing off with Leia being surrounded. But yeah, I am so happy with this display and how it's come out. And as you may well have noticed, I have the first light that I can put in. I'm not lighting up this display until I get a few more lights in from MixABrix, but there is that one light there that I can put on now to show you. So let's do that. So there we go. It's lit up and he is shooting back at Leia. I'm really happy with that. That effect looks really good. Actually, I'm going to turn the lights off. Can't see a lot, but you can see that flashing blue light very clearly. One more thing I haven't shown you is this is not the correct guy, the officer that is needed for this set. I do have a very suitable one, but he's in one of my big frames stuck to the wall and I didn't really want to disturb that. This one here, it doesn't really matter because when you look at it from the back you don't really see that much. So I think that works just fine for now. Really happy with how Tier 3 has turned out. And there will be one more video of this boarding the Tantive extended set MOC to go, and that will be lighting up this tier and the tier before, as well as showing you how I covered the holes and the wires. So look out for that very soon because I don't need much to finish it off, and it really will be nice to finish this off. It's been a long project for me, this. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you've tuned in to any of my other episodes, thank you very much as well. Please do remember to hit that like and subscribe to see future videos, including the last one of this series, and I will catch you all very soon. Thank you very much, one and all. Cheers.